Good afternoon and welcome back. I hope that everyone is staying safe from this terrible coronavirus, and if you're sick, I hope you get well very, very soon. I have two little projects I'd like to share with you today. One is this little needle case, and the second is a journal for my design team project for On a Whimsical Adventure. So I'm going to start with this little project. It's got faux bands, and it is created kind of like a traveler's notebook with the elastic bands. You can see here the elastic bands. But what it is it's a little tool kit, needle kit for I do a lot of Coptic binding, and because of that I use 2 needles for the Coptic for each piece of thread, and so I have to have a lot of needles. But this is just a little tool kit kind of thing that you can make. It's another way to use your skills to make something that's not a journal, and I just thought it might be an idea you'd be interested in. This leather is a very cheap leather. It had a lot of defects in it. It was from one of the local places that sells leather remnants from the upholstery industry, so that's why it's out of leather instead of something else. And then I just use a little hair band closure. This little journal is done in a 3-piece case binding that I learned on DAS book binding. Darren is in Queensland, Australia, and he does wonderful tutorial videos, and they go through, literally, he walks you through each and every step. You watch him do it. So each book is multiple videos worth, but you have that comfort of having an instructor who's like right there in the room with you. The spine piece is a little piece of leftover leather I had that was only 3 inches wide, perfect for this little project. The marbling is mine, as is the inside marbling. They don't completely match, but they blend well enough, and I'm trying to use up all sorts of things while I'm in my social distancing, staying at home, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. The kit that I used for this is called Azalea. It's from On a Whimsical Adventure, and it's a scrapbooking digital kit, but it's a great way to learn to play in Photoshop, PicMonkey, whatever program you use, free or purchased, where you use layers and can create your own digital designs. So I just created some writing pages. I just used the pattern pages exactly like they were, just resized them for the book. I like lines when I write, so this has a lot of lines. And in this kit there's a lot of little cluster embellishments like this, but there are also like individual embellishments, which I'll get to here soon, another one of the clusters. There's also word art, which I have used on several things, including making my own tags and putting the word art on there. Used this little image here is there, and was this one. So you can see with the little images you can resize them and use them to create all sorts of different things. On this, I put the first layer is one of the background papers that she has, and then I added some things into the 4 corners and then cut those corners out to be pockets. So that's how I went about that. Another one of the clusters. I also created some envelopes. The Graphics Fairy member site has envelope templates that you can use to put the pattern paper on, and then, like I said, I added some word art kind of things. And then for inside each of the envelopes there's a piece of writing paper, and it's just a good quality cotton rag writing paper, so it doesn't print as vivid as my Red River paper that I use inside, but it's better to write on for sending a little note to someone or whatever, so that's why I put that inside the envelope. Another one of the tags another part of the word art. And you know, there's various little items that I've added on top of the paper that are in this kit. That's another little cluster I put on a corner of the designer paper, and to make the corner pocket, more of the clusters. This piece of designer paper that's part of the kit did not print across the page correctly, so I took the piece that was good and made a pocket out of it. I try to use up, when I'm doing these kinds of things, everything that I print out, I try to use it for something. Another one of the clusters. So all of these layers and the words are already there. You just put it on the page wherever you want to, like a digital stamp. When I made the corner that you just saw, this was a little strip off the side. I just used it for a belly band and put another piece of that nice writing paper in there. I am not a real big ephemera person in creating ephemera that just goes with a journal, because when I journal, and as I keep these journals and carry them around with me, I add ephemera, but it has to do with what's going on right then in my life. And most of the time I take the ephemera, if there is any, out and discard it. So use it for something else. She has several, I only used a couple of these, but she has these word bands, and if you put a drop shadow under them, it makes them stand up off the page a little better. Another tag that I created, and here's the same word band. Some more of the writing paper. So you can see by the numbers of little clusters that are in here and the various embellishments that were used to create the little clusters for the corner pockets, that there's really a whole lot to this kit. And it's very pretty, it's very feminine, it's very spring-like. So it's a joy to work with, especially now while we're sitting here in North Carolina with nothing but rain for weeks, which adds to the dreariness of being stuck in your isolation. But we will all cope in the end, and hopefully this will pass without too many people getting sick and too much loss of life, although that's not what they're predicting right now. And there's the end of the book. So I hope you enjoyed seeing this, seeing what you can do with a digital scrapbooking kit. And I will leave below the video, if you look under more, there will be links to this kit. And I will also give you a link to the DAS bookbinding, Darren's site, so that you can look up this particular binding style. It's quite easy to do, especially for anyone that's done any of Nick the Booksmith's classes, where you create a case and you put your text block into it by attaching the cover to the end papers. You'll feel right at home, and it'll just give you another option. So have a wonderful day, stay healthy, wash your hands, cover your cough, be kind, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.